Okay, so sorry this one's a little late, guys. It's a busy day today. So this is just a quick update video for version 1086, which went live this afternoon. A couple of quick things, so let's pull up the notes. The triangulate and simplified triangulation options added to the export grids menu, which we'll have a look at. The move point tool has had some adjusted behavior added. And a couple of other minor things, so the ability to refresh your data flows with a hotkey, and some other minor things, some bug fixes, etc. So in terms of the animation side of things, there's a couple of things happening here. So we'll flick over to animation and go to our grid export. So what you'll find now is effectively with your grid export is you now have the option to also triangulate at the same time. So you can see I've been testing a few things in here, so we'll get rid of those. But what we do is from the grid export menu, it should be pretty clear what the behavior is. We can now add a triangulate option, and then by default we'll also simplify. And then the question is whether or not you want to overwrite the triangulation or duplicate and have two triangulations, one that's not simplified and one that is. We generally recommend that you leave the simplification turned on. Grids that are triangulated without simplification are going to be pretty massive. So with that turned on, for example, we run the top option, and we will get a grid named surface as well as a triangulation named surface. Because I have a debug version of Spry, I've got a few things happening in the background there, but if we pop that back, what we should see is we've gotten a grid called surface as well as the requisite simplified triangulation as well. So that's one of the updates. Then on top of that, we've also got the move point tool. So right now, if we create a shape, just put it on a new layer. So with move points, the old behavior, you would select the shape and then you would select points to move. The new behavior is that if you move more than sort of 10% down the line, you'll get into the option of actually extending or relimiting the point itself. So, sorry, the shape. So if I wanted to take this and move the point by selecting the shape, what will happen is it will actually try to intersect with, and it will move the point that it thinks makes the most sense. So if I'm moving this way, then it's going to end up moving the second or the lower of the 2 points, and if I'm over this side, it's going to try and move the higher of the 2 points. So if I select that segment and then say select this, you'll see that what it's trying to do is predict the intersection between that shape, right, and this line. So see this line, if I go down that way, it's going to try and intersect with that point. So it's trying to intersect with the shape that I'm hovering on, or just move the point, or extend the shape to where I expect it to go. And then right click to exit the tool. So that's the move point. So old behavior, still the same as long as you hover on the point that you want to move. But now if you hover on a segment, you're going to get adjusted behavior. It's going to try to actually move where the points are along the shape. So those are the two major changes that occurred. There's obviously, as I said, quite a few little fixes here and there. The last one, which is interest of interest to some of the more data-heavy guys, the refresh data flows hotkey option. So if you're spending a lot of time in data flows, and if you're not, feel free to turn off the video at this point because that's pretty much all that's left. But if we go across to data flows and have a look, one of the things that's been asked for, as I wait for my data flow to open, one of the things that's been asked for is, rather than you having to click the recalculate button to see changes happen, is for there to be a shortcut key. So if you want to set that shortcut key, it's not there by default, but you have the ability to assign it to one of your four hotkeys that we give you. So there'll be hotkeys. Where are we? Hotkey F5, F6, F7, and F8. So run last case, which is probably most of you guys will be familiar with. But then you can choose to adjust the behavior of F6, F7, and F8. So if you want to change F7 or F8, it's probably the most common one. Run last script is probably not super common. So you can change that to be the not particularly well named at the moment, but refresh. So refresh is the one that you want, and refresh is the shortcut for, we'll just get an element selected here. There we go. F8, it might help if I click on an element. F8, you'll see, is firing a recalculate. So anyway, besides bug fixes and some other minor improvements to the performance of things as per usual, that's it for the update. No Spry play today. Ran out of time to get that done, but we'll get a video up in the next couple of days. Have a great weekend and stay safe. See you next time.